All the good stories are full of unfortunate wishes. Wishers who were clever enough to avoid all the rules lawyering face-off against wish granters who do their level best to exploit every possible loophole. It's magic and mayhem, and depending on whether it's a straight telling of the story or a deconstruction thereof, by the end of it, everyone has learned a lesson. Wishes are dangerous. And yet, we wish. On stars blasting through space, on coins flipped into burbling water in the mall atrium, on loose eyelashes, which really grosses me out, and once a year, on birthday candles. This particular birthday, I turned 17. It wasn't a very important number. 2 years until I could drink, 1 year until I could vote, and 1 year past getting my beginner's license. I didn't even really have a party. Mom and Dad had dragged us all out of bed at 7 in the morning on Thursday so that I could open presents, and there had been a cake in the evening, but the bulk of the festivities had been shunted off to the weekend. Mags must have called the moment she got out of church, because it was barely 10:30 on Sunday morning when my cell rumbled in my pocket. I was finishing my waffles, which Dad only made on special occasions because they took forever. Even on vibrate, the noise was enough for my parents to hear. They pretended not to notice, but I knew they were dying for information as much as I was. The Catholic church in town had decent attendance rates, but this week was like an evil Easter, everyone turning out to see the mess. My sister, Emily, did not pretend. She'd missed most of the action already, having been away at school, but she'd come home at the beginning of May in time for the main disaster, and she wasn't about to let post-birthday decorum block the gossip. "Well," she said, "answer the damn phone." Neither of my parents could complain about her language, as that was what they inevitably and affectionately ended up yelling at each other every time one of their cells rang. I shoveled the last bite of waffle into my mouth and slid off of my chair. I was out the back door and on the deck before any of them could shout at me, Emily's protest cut short by the sliding glass. She'd find out. Where we lived, everyone always found out. I flicked the answer button and had barely scraped together a hello when Mags began talking. "He did it, Maddie!" She was yelling in the quiet way you learn to yell when you have 5 younger siblings and parents who actually care about taking care of them. "My fucking uncle!" Her voice was garbled. I could hear the murmur of people on the other end. No one yelled at her about language, but I figured everyone at St. Bridget's this morning had enough scandal to keep them happy. "Yikes," she said, and I waited impatiently for her to provide context. "Mom's yelling at him now. This is probably the end of family dinner for a while." "Jesus, can you just come over?" I asked. "I can't keep Emily off you, but Mom and Dad will respect a closed door." "Probably." "Are there any waffles left?" Mags asked. She was nobody's fool. "There will be if you hurry," I told her. Emily was waving at me through the glass, demanding that I get on with it. "I'm on my way," Mags said. Every other person in our grade had gone to the MTO on the day of their 16th birthday to get their beginner's license, and then immediately scheduled their driving test for 12 months later. If you took driver's ed, you only had to wait 9 months, and your insurance was cheaper, so I had been able to drive by myself for 3 whole months. Mags, on the other hand, was in absolutely no hurry to become her family's 3rd driver. What meant freedom for many of us would have meant chauffeur duties for her. She had her G1, so she could drive with a licensed adult in the car, but she kept putting off scheduling her exit test. As such, she would have to walk the 4 blocks between St. Bridget's and my house. There were waffles on the line, though, so it only took her a few minutes.